Halloween is the time of year that we celebrate the spooky and the scary, the gory and the grotesque, and what a better way to do that than with video games. Today we're going to be looking at Lolipop Chainsaw, a game so disturbing and so grotesque that game journalists dare not speak its name. A game that sends them crawling, crying, screaming into the corner, trying to get away. But what could this game possibly possess that would create such a reaction? The answer is simple, my friends. Ass! Okay, so Lollipop Chainsaw really isn't a scary game at all. But it's a zombie game, and that's good enough for me to talk about it during the Spooktacular, so fuck you. Anyways, Lollipop Chainsaw is a game about a girl named Juliet Starling, a fun, flirty, lollipop-eating cheerleader. It's her 18th birthday, and she just has to get through the school day so that she can come home and celebrate with her family and introduce them to her new boyfriend, Nick. Unfortunately, a zombie outbreak occurs on her way to school, and zombies are terrorizing her town and killing her schoolmates. Fortunately, Juliet also happens to be a trained zombie hunter. Armed with a bright pink chainsaw, she then proceeds to kick the undead shit out of all the zombies in town, fighting her way to school and finding her beloved Nick.
The hell? And on my birthday, too! Like I'm not already late enough! Gross! Stupid! Undead douchebags! OMFG! This is so irritating.
Unfortunately, Nick is bitten while pushing a zombie away from Juliet, so Juliet chops off his head and performs a magic ritual to keep him alive as, well, just a head. All this happens within the prologue. Bottom line, this game is wonderfully insane and over the top in all of the best ways. But isn't that what you expect from a Suda51 game? Suda51 is a game developer and mastermind behind games such as Moonlight Syndrome, The Silver Case, Flower, Sun and Rain, Michigan, Killer 7, No More Heroes, Shadow of the Damned, Lollipop Chainsaw, and Killer is Dead. He also contributed to Smash Bros. Brawl and the fourth Fatal Frame game. If you haven't heard of his game, just know that Suda51 is notorious for creating ridiculously over-the-top games. But that's not all. American filmmaker James Gunn collaborated with Suda to make this game. Yes, the same Gunn who directed Guardians of the Galaxy. And Lollipop Chainsaw is no exception to the zaniness. Gameplay-wise, the game is a 3D hack and slash. You perform combos to kill zombies in various ways. To kill a zombie, you must beat them into a groggy state and then decapitate them. There are 4 basic moves: a high chainsaw, a low chainsaw, a pom-pom punch, and a dodge roll. Combos utilize a mixture of these 4 basic moves. Every move is flashy, with wide arcing chainsaw swings and attacks that send zombies flying, rainbow arcs spreading throughout the map as you slay zombies. A colorful cacophony of carnage. Additionally, Juliet can perform moves using the Nick Roulette, in which a screen cycles through a few different magic abilities that Juliet can perform using Nick's severed head as a weapon. These techniques include swinging it around like a rope or shooting it out of a gun like a party popper. Juliet's chainsaw can also convert into a gun. With each kill, you get zombie medals. Gold medals are used to purchase things from the Chop and Shop, an in-game store which appears periodically throughout a level. These things include items such as lollipops, which can be used to restore health, Nick tickets, which are used to perform Nick roulettes and also revive Juliet upon death, permanent upgrades to Juliet's health, attack strength, recover speed, and distance you can home into enemies on, as well as new combo attacks. Zombies can also drop platinum medals as well. These platinum medals are used to buy things like MP3 tracks to play in the background, concept art, and costumes for Juliet to wear. The best way to earn gold and platinum medals is by sparkle hunting. Sparkle hunting is when you kill 3 or more zombies at the same time. The more zombies you simultaneously kill, the more gold and platinum medals you acquire. It's the easiest and quickest way to stock up. There are also minigame style events in the game as well. They are part of the overall game, so they aren't like separate minigames, but they diverge from the general hack and slash style of the rest of the game. These segments include things like pressing action buttons to jump on zombies' head or perform jumps on cheer blocks, or use the chainsaw like a motor to run really fast through mobs of enemies over tracks, or pole dancing to kill hordes of enemies in tight spaces. There are also QTEs when cutting through environmental blocks or finishing off bosses. Juliet can also save her fellow classmates on her journey. After saving her classmates, they will say something stupid and then give her a bunch of medals.
My favorite president is Warren G. Harding.
There are actually 2 different endings to the game, and saving all of her classmates is how you unlock the good ending. You are also scored every round. As far as I can tell, these scores really just contribute to your overall rank each level and are for a time attack trial and a target for you to aim for. The high score in each level is actually Juliet's father's score. By getting the highest score in each level and beating his score, you unlock new costumes based on all of her family members. Which brings us back to the plot. Juliet's entire family happen to be zombie hunters. Gideon Sterling is Juliet's father. He's a rock and roll badass you see riding around on motorcycle from time to time.
Starling?
2 of you haven't been formally introduced. Dad, this is...
Nick, I know. You told me all about it. Failed to mention the, disability.
It's kind of a new thing, sir.
You seem like a fine person, but whatever dude Juliet ends up with is gonna be part of the family business. What are you gonna do? Throw magic stars at chupacabras with your tongue?
Maybe, Dad. Nick's tongue is very limber.
And how do you know that?
She doesn't. She doesn't know that at all, sir. She has no idea if my tongue is limber.
Cordelia Starling is Juliet's older sister. She is a skilled and focused zombie hunter and a master sniper.
Hey, Cordelia! What's up?
See you in a few! Right now, I'm gonna go kick some zombie ass! Oh yeah! I almost forgot! Happy birthday!
Rosalind Starling is Juliet's younger sister. She is reckless, erratic, and unpredictable. She's a novice and often finds herself getting into trouble while trying to help Juliet out.
Ever! I almost hit a bird! Look out!
Hi, Rosalind!
Juliet also has a teacher, Morikawa, who is a perverted old man who often takes advantage of Juliet's naive innocence while training her.
It looks like you've really gotten ahead in life.
My teacher, Morikawa-sensei, is the most amazing veteran zombie hunter ever.
Correct. I have studied the zomboid sciences for 40 years.
As I mentioned before, Nick is Juliet's boyfriend, who is reduced down to a severed head. Juliet wears Nick like a keychain, swaying behind her as she kills undead hordes. They frequently quip back and forth, and their conversations were always some of my favorite parts of the game because they were funny in an already ridiculous situation. Especially in the beginning of the game when Juliet treats what's going on like they're on a date, or later in the game when Nick is sick of being a severed head and is just being grumpy, but Juliet keeps cheering him up because of her childish charm.
I think I just stepped in cow poop.
I know. It's like a German porn video around here.
What does that mean?
No,
Get up. So delicious. Don't watch porn, do you, Nick?
I mean, I've seen it, but no. Never watched it on my own. Gross.
As Juliet saves Nick in the school by using magic on his decapitated head, she then sets out to find Morikawa, fighting through hordes of the undead on her way. Upon finding Morikawa, we see that the school's lone goth kid, Swan, is behind the zombie outbreak, as he summoned them because he's edgy and wants to see the world die, and basically because he's an outcast. He summons 5 Dark Purveyors. These Dark Purveyors are powerful zombies who are acting as a means for Swan to destroy the Earth. Each of these Dark Purveyors are depicted as a different rock genre. Zed is a punk rock zombie who attacks by shouting profanities through a microphone, which then turn into words of giant walls that hit Juliet.
No one told me we were gonna have to deal with giant letters.
Vike is a black metal Viking who casts thunder while playing drums. Mariska is a psychedelic hippie zombie who attacks using her sitar.
And rot. And hell.
Josie is a funky zombie who attacks with his keyboard UFO.
That's a pity.
Let me think. Dude, give us Rosalind now. And quit making fun of Stephen Hawking. He's a great man, you perv.
I'm the pervert? You the one with a head hanging from your hip. I already told you, girlie. If you want to win your sister back, you have to play the game.
And Louis Legend is a classic rock and roller who attacks with a mecha pig motorcycle.
I've got a feeling when I start playing, you're just gonna die! Rock and roll is here to stay. You're not!
Each of these bosses are incredibly original and are very fun to fight against. Their stages and stage music reflect that of their character. Music is a huge part of the game. As I mentioned, you can collect and purchase in-game MP3s to curtail your own background music, and all of the bosses are based on different genres of music. The soundtrack is awesome, an assortment of pop rock, punk, metal, funk, and psychobilly, including music from artists like Five Finger Death Punch, Dragon Force, and Arch Enemy, among others. Each of the boss's levels and level music reflect their personality as well, and as such, there are some level-specific minigames. These include video game parody segments like in Josie's stage where Juliet becomes a pink vector and has to go through a Pac-Man parody and side-scrolling elements, or in Mariska's stage where you have to drive a giant tractor around and kill zombies in a cornfield. The zombies' appearance also reflect the tone of the levels, ranging from things like football players, baseball players, cheerleaders, and students in the school, punk rockers, Vikings, farmer hillbillies, elderly people, and firemen, amongst many other designs. Each different type of zombie requires a different strategy to defeat them. However, I found drop-kicking was the easiest way to kill most enemy types, as there is always a brief window of grogginess as they get up, where you can kill even mini-boss enemies in only 1 or 2 hits. The zombies also have personalities. They aren't just mindless killing machines, they actually talk, use weapons, play video games, dance, and love. The dialogue can get pretty vulgar, but I always found it pretty funny. Some of the things the zombies say are particularly vulgar.
Your license should be revoked, bro.
I'll rip out your teeth.
Oh, great. This isn't going to be as easy as I thought.
But again, I thought it was always in comedic taste. There's also plenty of fan service, innuendo in the dialogue, Juliet pantsu shots, and sexy costumes galore. After defeating the final Dark Purveyor, Swan reveals that he intended for them to die as it was part of the ritual to summon Killabilly, a giant fat Elvis zombie demigod who has the ability to destroy the world. This is the final boss, the final ultimate battle that Juliet must overcome before she can finally celebrate her birthday. With an insane story, flashy gameplay, sharp, funny dialogue, over-the-top action, a lot of fan service, and unique and likable characters, Lollipop Chainsaw is a sleeper hit from the last generation. It is seriously underrated, and I highly recommend you go check it out if you still have a PS3 or 360. As weird as a cheerleader running around killing zombies sounds, sexy zombie slaying is essentially its own genre in Japan. So if you like this game and want something more that's similar, check out the Onichambara Bikini Zombie Slayer series, Akiba's Trip, or the movie Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead for more. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this installment of Under the Bun. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, stay toasty. Until next time.
You're already dead.